Not the greatest week for the side. We were let down by a couple of our pods. 25-26, down 14 spots to 95 overall. Still in the top 100. We'll take it. Could have been a whole lot worse. Gonna speed through this. Don't have that much time to record. But Dacos, glad I got to see that masterclass in person. Went to the 2 Queensland games over the weekend. Shame that they were both blowouts, but regardless, a great experience being at the Gabba and Heritage Bank Stadium for the first time. And it was great to see Dacos and Neil dominate their respective games. Neil had an absolute ripper. Should have just chucked the C on Dacos just because I was there. Oh well. Stewart had a huge fourth quarter, made some big plays early. Shame Geelong couldn't hold on to the lead, but really we should have lost that. Sydney wasted almost every chance they got. Dawson put Laird into this bracket as well, especially Laird. Expected more from the both, but it was an easy win for Adelaide in the end. Sinclair, slow start, but got into it. Lloyd, same thing. Although I probably expect more from Lloyd considering he's a bigger pod in the side. Will Day, Hawthorn got absolutely dominated and he didn't use the ball that well, so that's a shame. We captained Bont. It was either him, Dawson, or Laird. So I guess that's a very small win out of an underwhelming lot of options. Merritt's fourth quarter was outstanding. That's what you want from your captain. He was so dominant. Unfortunately, wasn't able to will the team to the win. But what a game from Merritt, and what a game overall that was. Petrarca, that was a 150 gone begging, 4 behinds. Same with Parrish as well in that Essendon Port game. He got a 131, also kicked 4 behinds. But yeah, it could have been a lot more from track. Brayshaw disappointing. Walsh, I call this disappointing considering he had a great start and Carlton was so dominant. Would have loved more from Walshy and Steele as well. The West Coast matchup, of course it didn't end up being easy, but it was a close game, so there were clutch points there for the taking. And he drops another 80. The rucks were underwhelming. Marshall, again, the West Coast matchup, so expected a bit more. But his dream team score was huge, so it would have been nice if it translated to SuperCoach. And Witts just being at the game, oh man, super disappointing. He's a tall man, but disappears very easily. I don't know, probably stuck with him, as tempting as it is to trade. So I guess I just gotta hope he bounces back against Port. And the forward line, Dunkley got injured, subbed out early in the fourth. Very unfortunate, might not play against West Coast either. So we'll see what happens there. Taranto, first bad game in a while. I'd say Hopper coming back impacted him a little bit, but at the same time Richmond were just awful. Goulden, you could tell it would be a great game from him from the opening bounce. He was everywhere. If his ball use was better, it could have been a lot more than that 124. Rosie was huge. Cornelio, fast start, faded, unfortunately. And Ben Keys, barely any CBAs, played a lot forward, but a 124. Took advantage of the North matchup. We love that. So I am thinking of a couple of trades this round. Probably silly. It would leave me down to 1 trade, but I guess part of it is Dunkley potentially being out. But more so, I don't want this guy in my team any longer. That would be Jack Steele. He goes. Like, what's best case scenario for him at this point? 90, 95 average? Like, if you can't go big against West Coast, then what are you doing? So what I'm thinking is Steele to Mills. Like, that's risky in itself because we don't know Mills's role week to week. Horse could just chuck him anywhere. But it's just not fun watching Steele each week, knowing that best case scenario is probably just reaching the ton, and he'd probably be lucky to get there. So that will be trade number 1. it doesn't solve the Dunkley part of the situation. So what I'm thinking here is trading Eddie Ford and going a bit left field, very risky, Liam Henry. Playing on the wing the last few weeks. Last 2 games he's had career highs in disposals and he's tonned both games. He's got DPP, so he can be my mid and forward cover, and that's probably the most appealing part to me. If he keeps that role, I'll back him in. We'll do that for now, just to have the trades I'm thinking of in the video. Steele to Mills, Ford to Henry, 1 trade left, 33k in the bank. Might as well go for broke, take a risk. So this will be the team heading into round 17, if the trades stick. I will say another trade thought I had was to go Witts down to Darcy instead of Steele to Mills. I just have more faith in Witts bouncing back than Steele. Feel like Took returning will be really good for Witts. So I'll keep the faith in him. Captains this week, Neil VC, probably the way to go. Even if Dunkley plays, I'll probably keep it on Neil, because he's not the one under an injury cloud. And captain, I like Laird. He never really has 2 bad games in a row. It's pretty good against Essendon too, so I think I'll stick with Lairdy as a fallback option. But anyway, that will do it. Fingers crossed for no injuries here on in, because 1 trade, I'm playing with fire here, but that will do it. Hopefully you all had a better round 16 than I did. Good luck for round 17, and see you in the next one.